Good morning, entrepreneurs. Welcome to show number 151. Happy Friday, July 31st, 2026. I am your host, Kim White, and I'm joined today by the media personality and interview king himself, Adam Rothenberg. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Kim. I am so excited to be here with you, co-hosting GME.
We're going to have a great show, Adam.
Oh, we are. We are. And I want to make sure that everybody watching knows that we strive to make this show for entrepreneurs, solo creators, and business owners who are serious about turning their skills into a real online business. It's built for people who want a calm, consistent space each day to cut through the noise, make smart decisions, and actually deliver content.
I love that, Adam.
And one of the ways we do that is by going to our favorite place in the whole wide world, Entrepreneurland.
Well, today's theme in Entrepreneurland is fluid. Fluid in business describes a way of operating that is flexible, adaptable, and responsive to change. A fluid business can shift direction, adjust strategies, and update decisions quickly as new information, feedback, or market conditions emerge without them feeling like they're stuck in rigid plans or structures. Fluid teams move from, we've always done it this way, to what works now.
Kim, I love that. To me, being fluid is similar to being flexible in business. You are open to new ideas and shifting and pivoting as needed.
And don't worry if you're feeling a little stuck or rigid. Stick around to the end of the show to see how you can become more fluid in your business in less than 1 minute. So, 1 minute, Adam. Well, next up is the GME Chronicles. This is where we pull back the curtain on what our community has been up to. Notice the, behind the curtain of Adam, anyway, the wins, the progress, and the real numbers. The GME Chronicles isn't about bragging, y'all. We want to make sure you know that. It's about showing you what's possible when you plug in and you do the work. As you listen, don't compare. We're not here to have you compare anything, but celebrate with us and ask yourself, what's one move I can make this week to create my own version of these celebrations and results?
Thank you, Kim and team. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the GME Chronicles. I am Jill Olish, and I've got your community update. The GME Chronicles is our space to celebrate how we're moving the needle in our businesses. We share these numbers out loud, not to show off, but to show what's possible when we build and grow together. To catch you up, here's what's been happening around the community. Our leaders and creators have been hosting classes, workshops. Inside My Sexy Business, the community has been buzzing with masterminds, live sessions, and special gatherings to support you as you build a business you actually want to own. Here are a few of the highlights from this week inside the My Sexy Business community. On the content front, we saw new releases from our writers and creators, adding more stories, strategies, and support for you to plug into. On the live stream front, our community has been showing up with live shows, special events, and new clips, including broadcasts from My Sexy Business on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the My Sexy Business YouTube channel so you're never missing an upcoming show or new clips. On the podcast side, head to your favorite podcatcher to listen to shows hosted by podcasters in the community. You can connect with the roving reporters through the GME directory. Just head to mysexybusiness.com/GME and look for the big red button. Check out the amazing total for this week and the grand total, all done collectively by this community in just 4 years and counting. We look forward to sharing even more updates next week. If you're ready to join in on the fun around here, we invite you to join us at these events, activities, and inside the My Sexy Business community. Back to you in the GME studio.
Oh my goodness. Cheers, Adam.
Cheers, Kim.
I have to say, I'm always in awe of the numbers because they have grown so much. But I want to mention really quickly, we started at 0. This community started at 0. And each one of those things that you see, the podcasts, the blogs, there was a first one. Then there was the second one, and so on and so forth. So I think it's really important if you are looking at that and thinking, oh, there's no way. There is a way, y'all. We want to make sure you are encouraged by that and not, comparing. We want to say that. But we have a special video today, Adam, in our shout outs, and I am excited to share it with y'all because we actually celebrated the 4 years. We started celebrating it before now because we were leading up to it. But the truth is, it started August the 3rd, which is this week in 2022. And so there has been a lot happen. And I think the video speaks for itself. So we want you all to know this is, again, a celebration. Please take note that this has been, 4 years coming. So I'm going to play the video, Adam.
Oh
So
my God.
I think it's so fun, like just to share a little bit of the moments when we all got to be together and when we all got to do things. But 313 sessions later, look at what all has happened. So it makes me very excited. I hope you all enjoyed it because that was the first time anybody got to see it. I actually kept it under wraps until this morning. So
I love the video, Kim. And I have to say that 313 is a lot of sessions. I think all the roving reporters can attest to the fact that we have learned so much about being fluid in business during these Groundwork Brigade mastermind sessions. It also makes me think of all the hours we have spent sitting and how rigid our bodies can get. And that is why I am so grateful for Kat Corchado, who is always showing us how to keep our bodies moving. So let's see what Kat has to say about being fluid in our bodies in her health and wellness for entrepreneurs segment.
Thanks, Kim. When you think of the word fluid, what do you think of? Maybe a body of water, maybe movement as being fluid. What about your body? You know, when we're kids, our bodies are fluid. We move without overthinking. We recover quickly. We bend, we twist, and we play. Somewhere along the way, life starts to stiffen us up. Long hours sitting, constant stress, old stories about what our bodies can or can't do. We begin to believe that feeling tight, heavy, or tired is just getting older. But your body was designed to be fluid. Fluid in your joints, fluid in your breath, fluid in your mindset. Fluid means you can adapt instead of break. It means you can flow around obstacles instead of crashing into them. It means you're willing to release what no longer serves you and make room for what does. So today I'm inviting you to reclaim that fluidity. Take one small action that helps you flow. Drink a little more water. Stretch for like 5 minutes. Or take a walk after dinner. Or simply just pause and take some deep, intentional breaths. Feel how even a tiny shift can change your whole state. You're not stuck and you're not rigid. You are fluid. So back to you in the GME studio.
Love that tie-in with Kat. So our bodies are an extension of our business. If our bodies aren't working well, then our businesses can suffer too. We need to figure out the best way for our bodies to keep moving forward. And like our bodies, a fluid business experiments quickly and keeps what works. And Kat is what works for me. I'll just say that.
100% Kim. I love the suggestions Kat gave as to how you can make your body more fluid. She didn't say do all these things for an hour. She said try taking a walk after dinner or stretching for 5 minutes. These were small, bite-sized moments that you can do.
I agree, Adam.
And that is just one of the reasons Kat's 11-minute fitness challenge is so good, because she gives us short, digestible ways to move our bodies one step, one movement at a time.
It's very important you go to smallspacepilates.com and register, because Kat is working on simpler and simpler ways. I'll just say that for someone to get started. 11 minutes is like, we do nothing in 11 minutes. We can do 11 minutes, which is so much better than waiting for that someday. Someday we're going to start. It's always going to be on a Monday, and it's always going to be, this day, and it never comes. So I am grateful that Kat got me started. And 11 minutes, you all can do that.
And I have to say, Kim, that I feel like it's because of Kat's 11-minute fitness challenge that I have been a part of. That is the reason I was able to now start my own routine that I've been in, of trying to make sure that I walk every day, and that I've started a kettlebell workout routine for myself. And I do credit Kat with helping me get into those habits by just starting small.
By starting. That's the key. By starting.
Exactly. Exactly.
And congrats, Adam, on making that needle move for your health.
Thank you. Thank you. Another way we can be more fluid in business is by being around other business owners, Kim.
Oh, so true, Adam. So brainstorming, feedback, accountability all make a huge difference in your success. We can have a business, but you want a successful one. So it's all in our free online community. Do you want to share your experience in the community, Adam?
I would love to, Kim, because I love this community so much. So many things have happened for me because of the relationships I have built from the amazing humans in the Mind Sexy Business community. It gives me a place where I can ask questions and get solutions to my problems.
I love the community. I have to say, this is one thing about being around people. And I'm going to just put a little note in here. Sometimes we feel like it's a waste of time to be with other people because we can get more done by ourselves. But are you getting the right things done? Because without the brainstorming and the feedback and the accountability, it's not as good as it could be. So the community actually started, and I think the story behind it is important. It started during COVID as a public space to share ideas, have conversations, and learn from each other. But it has actually evolved into a private community to be more focused on building that successful business without the distractions of people, who are just disrupting your progress. They're there not because they're serious about business. We just don't need that. But we do have a lot of fun, and it is an intentional, impact driven space to grow your business, to be successful, and to grow you as a human. Because I believe when you're confident, others will be confident to do business with you, Adam.
Kim, I agree with that as well. And I am so grateful that the My Sexy Business community exists because it has, as I mentioned before, given me a place to go get answers when I have questions.
And we just wanted to say really quickly, you can grab the QR code or you can go to mysexybusiness.com. It's right on the front page where you can come and join us inside the community. Again, it's a free place. So if you are looking for a place to become a more successful business owner, this might be the ticket. But speaking of being fluid and flexible in business, have you ever had to make a pivot in your business, whether that be changing directions or altering your message? I'd like to go to Adam's segment and see what he had to share from one of his famous interviews in Entrepreneurs in Entertainment segment.
Thanks, Kim. It's Adam. And for today's Entrepreneurs in Entertainment segment, I wanted to spotlight my 2025 interview with comedian Dion Forrest. As an entrepreneur, I feel it's very important to be fluid in business. Staying rigid can keep you from growing. I hope what Dion had to say in this interview about pivoting her talents after September 11th resonates with you as a business owner. Prior to 9/11, Dion was earning a living as a musician, but after 9/11, musicians weren't getting that much work. So Dion had to make a change, and despite getting resistance from her closest friends, Dion pivoted from music to comedy. Dion's fluidity in her career allowed her to achieve one of the highest accomplishments one can hope for, being in the Guinness Book of Records. She is inscribed as the oldest working female comedian in the world. I hope Dion's example of flexibility in business is an inspiration to you. So the next time you need to change directions, you can. And that is today's Entrepreneurs in Entertainment segment. It's back to you in the GME studio.
I love this new format, Adam. I was trying to tell you in the green room. I love this. So it seems that Dion noticed that musicians weren't getting a lot of work after 9/11. So she was really paying attention, which is part of being fluid. She saw she had to change directions fast if she wanted to keep working. And I think that's an incredible trait for a business owner to pay attention like that. And Dion's change to comedy was a great example of being fluid in her business. And that means adjusting fast instead of defending old plans.
I 100% agree with you, Kim. I love how Dion stayed fluid in her career because that flexibility allowed her to gain, as I mentioned in the segment, one of the highest achievements anyone could hope for, getting inducted into the Guinness Book of Records as the oldest working female comedian in the world. It is great that she saw an opportunity and she went for it.
Adam, I love that she didn't let her age hold her back either. Let me just mention that. I think sometimes we can count ourselves out. And I love that she got rewarded for for being the oldest. That's amazing. But speaking of going for it when you see an opportunity, your book, which is full of behind the curtain stories, hence the name, laugh out loud, it is called Behind the Curtain. It's such a, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It's such a powerful example of being fluid and flexible. And you knew what your dream was, but we're open to how it would come to reality. It's amazing watching you, Adam, living your dream because you chose to be flexible. And y'all can get your very own copy on Amazon or on callmeadam.com.
Thank you, Kim. And I have to say, the other incredible thing about Dion is that she's in her 90s performing comedy all over the world. And when Dion made this change in her career, she was already in midlife. And I often wonder if her decision would have been the same when she was younger, if this happened to her when she was younger.
Oh, yeah.
So that now makes me wonder about something else that I have a question for our viewers. When you were younger, how flexible were you in making decisions? Were you able to go with the flow? Were you a go with the flow kind of person? Or were you more like, this is the way it's supposed to be done, and that is how we need to do it? Well, let's see what Yvonne Marchese has to say about this in her Entrepreneurship Later in Life segment.
Thanks, Kim. This is Yvonne Marchese, your resident age agitator, here to talk about later in life entrepreneurship. And one of the things I love about entrepreneurs who start later in life is that we've already lived through enough change to know rigid does not work. We've navigated career shifts, family transitions, economic ups and downs. We know how to bend without breaking. 100% track record of making it through, right? That's what a fluid business looks like. It doesn't mean you have no plan. It means your plan can breathe. You can shift direction when new information comes in. You can update your offer, your message, your strategy without feeling like you failed flat out. Fluidity isn't weakness, it's wisdom in motion. If something in your business isn't working, you don't have to blow it all up. You just need to flow around the obstacle or the rock. So what is one place in your business that could use a little more flexibility right now? That's all for now. Back to you in the GME studio.
Yvonne is on point once again. Fluid businesses stay light so opportunity can actually reach them. As older entrepreneurs, which I am one, we have had life experiences where we made changes so we can use those lessons in business and be open to new things more easily.
Yes, I love what Yvonne had to say about how fluidity is wisdom in motion. That was a mic drop moment for sure.
I think another one was that we have 100% survival rate.
Yes, exactly. And I like the analogy of floating around the rock to get around where you're stuck. I thought that was great. And these are just some of the many golden nuggets you will get on Yvonne's podcast, Late Bloomer Living. Yvonne talks to so many incredible entrepreneurs who are starting businesses later in life.
You can hear all kind of, examples of fluid operators who hold the vision tight and the plan loose. I think it's very important to think about that.
Yes, I agree, Kim. And that actually feeds perfectly into the question I was just about to ask you. How often have you had something on your calendar, but then something else comes up that you've had to take care of right away?
I'd like to say never, but that would not be true, Adam. It happens often.
It most certainly does. And some of those things that could pop up could be a client SOS or some kind of family obligation. What happens? And then if that thing comes up, what happens to the thing that you had planned and scheduled on your calendar? Well, let's see what Jill Olish has to say about this in her Mama Entrepreneur segment.
Thanks, Kim. I really tried hard in the very beginning of my motherhood transition to have a schedule, and it had a pretty intense way of rewriting my plans in real time. And I think that goes for many people who enter into motherhood. Things rarely go as expected at home or in business. Am I right? Because there's so much that influences our lives that we don't have control over. So it took a lot for me to learn that flexibility wasn't failure, and it was really wisdom that I was learning, that I was able to pivot, that it was a good thing to adjust schedules, even when I felt the pressure from others and that it would be harder to work with me. I learned shifting my priorities was key, and just going with the flow would be okay. The more flexible that you become, the more sustainable your growth will be. So what is something that you are being stuck in and rigid on in your plans that you might be able to shift your expectations and your priorities to see what you could be more flexible with? Start with something small. Back to you in the GME studio.
Have to make a comment. I love Jillow's little pregnant belly in this segment. It just makes me so happy. So let me just say that. But she is so on point with, in a fluid business, decisions are living. Sometimes those decisions are living children. Sometimes they are, living life events. So they're not locked, which is why it's important to remain flexible with your schedule and calendar. And a fluid business changes direction when reality changes, not months later, but in the moment. So a fluid business can pivot in days, not quarters or years. So I think that that's an important part of what she's talking about.
Oh, definitely, Kim. I love what Jill had to say about being fluid with your schedule. We can plan all we want, but sometimes life gets in the way and we have to adjust our plans. The fluidity that Jill just spoke about is one reason why you need to pick up her book, Mama Outspoken, because Jill shares her very vulnerable journey through her postpartum depression, anxiety, and rage. Jill takes you on all the ups and downs she experienced while having a baby during the global pandemic. You can be assured that through this very trying time, Jill had to be fluid with her schedule.
She did. And again, Jill is a great example of adjusting to things in her life. You can live with so much guilt and frustration when you're rigid with yourself, especially when it comes to babies, kids, or just humans in general, because that is something out of our control, y'all. We love our humans and we need to let go of the unnecessary pressure that comes from holding on too tight to things that are not actually realistic.
And we do need to mention also, because you're probably wondering, how can I get Jill's book? Well, you can get it on Amazon or at Jill's website, mamaoutspoken.com.
Yes, you can, and you should go and do that. Let me just say.
Yes. Oh, you can do it while you're watching the show. You can open up a new tab and go get it right this moment.
Yeah, a new tab. That's the key, Adam.
Yes, exactly. So you can keep watching Good Morning Entrepreneurs. And if you're looking for more ways to be fluid with your calendar or in business, you should listen to Kim and Jill's podcast, Buckets and Boom Gates.
Oh my goodness. I love the podcast. We have a lot of great conversations about real life topics concerning time, money, and bandwidth. And we certainly make a lot of confessions on the podcast. We share our mess ups and learnings with our listeners so they can avoid some of the things that slow down, their progress as a business owner and an entrepreneur.
And Kim, didn't you and Jill just publish an episode talking about this very topic of being flexible with your calendar?
We did talk about flexibility, Adam, that it is actually a strength. So, episode 124, it is called Why Flexibility is a Strength, Not a Weakness in Business. And I think whenever you are brought up to be strong, like we are very strong people, but we forget that flexibility actually is proof of strength, not proof of weakness. So I do think it's important to to hear that conversation?
Well, guess what, Kim? You can hear that conversation as you tune into Buckets and Boom Gates on your favorite podcatcher.
Yes, follow the show and let us know you're there. We love hearing from you. Well, you are tuning in to Good Morning Entrepreneurs, show number 151. And if you haven't already guessed, the theme today is fluid. Subscribe to the channel that you're watching, GME on, so that you can stay connected with us. But another way to get connected is to actually connect with each of the roving reporters. If one of them is someone that you really resonate with, let them know so that they can, do more content toward what you're looking for, or just start building a relationship with them. You can go to the QR code and it'll take you to a page with a big red button that has the directory in it. So just stick around and hang out with the roving reporters. I think they're amazing humans myself, and I am so grateful for each one of them.
Well, we are very grateful for everybody who watches GME. And one way that we are fluid on Good Morning Entrepreneurs is by taking questions from viewers just like you. We could be rigid and only talk about what we want and what we feel is important, but we love hearing from you and getting a better understanding as to what you are looking for in business. So this week's question is, how can I overcome the "we have always done it that way" mindset with my team?
I love this question, and it is going to be a little spicy answer. When I hear "we've always done it that way," I treat it as data, not defiance, because it can feel like someone is not doing what you're asking them to do on your team, but it's not necessarily defiance. First, I get curious instead of pushing back. I'll say something like, "Walk me through why we do it this way and what's working well about it." And Adam has experienced this. Let me just say that for the record. And that does show respect, though, for the existing process, and usually surfaces the real fears or constraints underneath that attitude. Remember, these are humans who may be afraid of change for many reasons. Maybe they're afraid they can't learn a new way or do a good job, or maybe their bandwidth is low and they're melty. So any kind of change feels extremely overwhelming. Be kind to humans, y'all. We all need that kindness, no matter what position we're in. Then I would connect, though, the second part is I would connect the change to a shared outcome, not my personal preference. We don't do it that way because, we're trying to disrupt our whole process. It's not about me or being right. It's about being better. So, for example, our goal is to serve clients faster, and that is our goal. Reduce mistakes, that really is our goal. And to free up time, that is our goal always as well. So this new approach is a way to get us there, not change for the sake of change. Nobody needs that in their life, I'll just say. I also keep the change as flexible and test driven as possible. I might say, and I have said, let's treat this as a 30-day experiment. We'll test it. We'll measure what happens, and if it doesn't work better, we'll adjust or roll it back. And that moves it from a permanent threat feeling to a temporary trial. We can do this. We really can do this. So finally, I invite their fingerprints on the solution. What would make this change workable for you day to day? Let's take away all the pain points. I think when you ask your team how you can solve the pain point issues, they are immediately wanting to help with the process change because nobody wants pain points. So when the team helps shape the how, they're much more willing to let go of the "we've always done it that way." So in short, respect the old way, anchor the new way to a shared win, run it as a flexible experiment, and give your team real input into how it gets implemented.
Kim, that is very well said. And it is another mic drop moment on today's show, I have to say.
Thank you, Adam.
You're welcome. I think being open to new ideas is one step you can take to overcome "we have always done it this way." Maybe trying out someone else's idea might give you the living proof you need to see there are other ways to get something done. It's like in Mary Poppins, she made a game out of cleaning up the nursery, which was not the usual way that Jane and Michael clean their room. Once they saw how much fun it was to clean up, they couldn't wait to keep doing it that way.
I love that visual, Adam. We just need to look at some things differently.
Yes, we do. And speaking of, we have always done it this way, I have another question for our wonderful viewers. How many times have you received a t-shirt at a corporate event that you wore once and put it back in a drawer, or worse, threw it out? In today's Surprise and Delight marketing segment with Chief Givologist Donna Bender, she discusses the power of being fluid with branded merch and sponsorships.
Thanks, Kim. This is Donna Bender coming to you as a roving reporter for Good Morning Entrepreneurs. Today's Surprise and Delight marketing segment is on the power of sponsorships and how they create new opportunities for your organization and your company. When you welcome sponsors into your world, you're not just asking for support, you're inviting partners to align their brand with your audience, your message, and the experience you create. That could mean expanded reach, shared marketing, deeper community involvement. One simple but powerful example of this is something as basic as a t-shirt. When you choose high quality t-shirts for your events, they don't just get worn once and tossed in a drawer, they become a favorite. They're kept, worn, and seen again, and the quality of the t-shirt is directly tied to how long it's kept. The longer it's kept, the more impressions it creates for you and your sponsors. That's why quality matters. A well-designed, comfortable t-shirt with tasteful sponsor branding can quietly do its job for months or even years, turning every year into another touch point. When sponsors see that their support shows up on something people are proud to wear, it encourages them to stay involved and often to increase their commitment. So as you think about sponsorships, think about creating lasting, usable pieces that your audience will want to keep and love. When you pair meaningful experiences with high-quality t-shirts, you create real value for your sponsors, your organization, and your community. Back to you at the GME studio.
Donna brings up such a good point. Adam, fluid CEOs respond to the market. Rigid CEOs argue with it. If your customers aren't keeping your t-shirts, you might need to figure out how to make them so your clients want to wear them year-round. And I have a confession, Adam. You all have seen somewhere, because I wear it all the time, my Wonder Woman t-shirt, and it's about 20 years old. I wear it about once a week because it's the softest shirt I own, and I am a walking billboard for the nonprofit I got it from. Now that, Adam, is longevity.
100%, Kim. That also makes me think of my Dolly Parton t-shirt that I got at her concert from Foxwoods, and I have worn it for over a decade, and I adore it because, like you said, it's so comfortable, and it just brings me right back to that moment.
Love it.
I love it too. And I love what Donna had to say about making sure you supply your clients and customers with the right branded merch so they will wear it over and over again, like we were just talking about with our shirts, allowing your dollars to be fluid for many years to come. And that tip that Donna gives, that Donna just gave in her segment, is just one reason why you should watch Donna's quarterly live stream, The Big Show and Tell. This quarter's Big Show and Tell just took place on Tuesday. So if you didn't get to watch it yet, you should go to Donna's YouTube channel and watch the replay. Or if you did watch it and you wanted to rewatch it because you wanted to write down some of the tips she gave, go to Donna's YouTube channel at Donna Bender Giving and watch the replay there as well.
There is a playlist of all the replays. You can have a few laughs and learn how to strategically get big. I'm going to do Donna, big marketing and branding results like she has gotten for us.
And learning from what Donna showed us about choosing the right branded merch, you can also be applied to other aspects of your business. Kim, was there ever a time in your life when you learned something that you now apply to your current business?
Oh my goodness, I'll have to giggle, Adam. So it's only for the last 43 years, because remember, my first business was at 16.
Oh, I remember, Kim. I remember. I mean, I wasn't there at 16, but I remember you telling us that you have been in business since you were 16.
You were barely born when I was 16.
See what Kat Critchado has to say about, let's see what Kat Critchado has to share in this week's Military Minute segment, which is sponsored by the Sisters in Service podcast, about what she learned in the military that she now applies to her business today.
Kat, how has discipline from your military service shown up in the way you run your business day to day?
It's been huge, I think, for me. In the military, you have this discipline to get something done or else you get in trouble. Not so much in business, but I apply that same tendency towards my business. And it's worked well for me because I'm one of those people that'll be like, I'll put it off to the side. But I really want to get it done because I want to be successful as an entrepreneur. So it's been helping me a lot. I'll say that.
For the record, it's working well. Thank you, Kat. So similar to Kat learning discipline in the military and applying it to her business, Adam, I think fluid leaders update their strategy as easily as they update a document. And fluid businesses treat their plans as guides, not cages to hold them back.
Very well said, Kim. I love how Kat applies the discipline she learned in the military to how she needs to be disciplined in her business today.
Agreed.
And another way to apply what you know from one area to another is with your SEO, everybody's favorite subject. Do you remember, this question is for our viewers as well. Do you remember when you developed an SEO strategy that worked well?
So I want to say, Adam, we developed our SEO strategy by following Denise Millay. So I want to just put that little interjection in there.
Yes, we did. And I have, since meeting Denise, I have revised my SEO strategy to all the tips that Denise has given. And maybe when you first started out, you saw a lot of visitors to your website. You couldn't count the downloads of your podcast fast enough. But then something happened and you stopped seeing that growth that you once had. Well, I think we should go to Denise's segment to find out what the findability queen herself has to say about this in her Helping Entrepreneurs Be Findable Online.
Thanks, Kim and team. Today we're looking at the idea of being fluid, and that's exactly how your SEO strategy needs to behave. Search isn't a one and done project. Your audience changes, the language they use changes, even the platforms they search on are changing. So how do you keep your SEO fluid without burning out? Here's a simple rhythm. First, pick your anchor content, those core pages or articles that represent the main problems you solve. Think like your services page, your main blog guide, your key tutorials. Second, schedule regular check-ins, maybe once a quarter. Ask, is this still how my audience talks about this problem? Are there new questions they're asking? Then, instead of starting from scratch, you refresh. You expand on a previous content. You update headlines and include fresh stories or case studies. And finally, keep an eye on where your people are searching. Maybe they're now using YouTube, TikTok, or podcasts more than search engines. Repurpose those refreshed pieces into new formats and link everything back to your main site so search engines see it all connected. And fluid SEO isn't about constantly reinventing yourself. It's about letting your content evolve as you and your audience grow. When your strategy stays flexible like that, you're not chasing trends. You're simply staying findable wherever your people go next. Back to you in the GME studio.
Being fluid means letting real data win over your favorite idea. And I love Denise's evolution of how we must adjust. Really, that's what it is, adjust. So if your customers and clients are not finding you, you should figure out what keywords or phrases they are using to search for the service you provide, the solution that you are in your business. So you can adjust your language to allow them to find you more easily. And I love that Denise reminds us of this all the time. This kind of information becomes the feedback you need to meet your clients and customers where they are. When you're fluid, feedback becomes fuel instead of a threat.
I 100% agree, Kim. I love what Denise had to say about being fluid with your SEO strategy. Sometimes those little updates can make all the difference in having your right fit clients find you. And this is just one more reason you should listen to Denise's podcast, SEO Day, because every week she answers 5 questions from her listeners that you can incorporate for yourself as you listen to each episode. New episodes drop every Tuesday. So like Denise says, you should make Tuesdays your SEO day, as the findability queen herself tells us. You can get even more tips from Denise along with Kim when you tune into their weekly live stream, Website Royalty Town Hall, on Thursdays.
So I will confess, I struggled a long time with understanding the tech behind websites, email lists, blogs, all the things. And I feel like that is what drives Denise and I, now to do these town halls. We want to help others stay in business and not let tech overwhelm them to the point of quitting, because we understand if they're not making money, that could be because they are letting tech overwhelm them. And we want you to stay in business. So if you're making a good impact on the world, we want you to make the income that goes with that. And it involves the tech that you use.
So don't forget, every Thursday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Kim and Denise share why while the all-in-one platform Kajabi is a business owner's dream tool to use when building your website, newsletter, and everything that goes into making sure people know about your business. Another place we are fluid here at GME is in Princess Speak, which is sponsored by the My Sexy Business team and community, which we're going to go into right now.
Welcome to Princess Speak, where we translate what the heck does that mean into, oh, I've got this, for entrepreneurs and business owners on the daily. Today's phrase is the hard spaghetti test. The hard spaghetti test is about flexibility in business. It's like holding a piece of uncooked spaghetti and being willing to bend it without snapping it. You keep a clear structure and direction, but you're not so rigid that any change breaks you. Instead of insisting things go exactly as planned, you adjust your approach, your timeline, or tactics as conditions change, while still protecting the core of your vision and values. Going through these tests can feel like your spaghetti is getting cooked, but think of that as your flexibility growing. Are you willing to grow? I am Kim White, and this was Princess Speak, turning into handled. Keep your words simple, your message clear, and build that business like you mean it. Well, today's phrase for Princess Speak was hard spaghetti test. And here's the truth of the matter. I epically failed because I was going to bring some, uncooked spaghetti to show you how it snaps. And I was going to bring some cooked spaghetti on a plate to show you how flexible it was. So please use your imagination with me. and think of your business and if it is going to snap like uncooked spaghetti or if it's going to twirl on the fork and taste delicious like the cooked spaghetti that you're pretending I have in my hands. Adam.
Well, Kim, I have to say I feel very fortunate that my business has been able to be like the cooked spaghetti and super delicious curled around the fork, because there have been so many times I needed to be flexible with my interviews. And the three that come to mind today are the ones with Lorna Luft, one of Judy Garland's daughters, actress Mary Lou Henner from Taxi, and Sharon Lawrence from NYPD Blue. All three times something had come up that I needed to adjust my schedule and be flexible with the interview. So instead of being rigid and unbending, I let myself be fluid with my schedule, which ultimately allowed me to have these incredible interviews.
You have so many amazing ones, Adam, but aren't all three of these stories, behind the curtain stories, in your book?
Yes, they are, Kim.
Oh, I love it. So Behind the Curtain, Adam Rothenberg, Amazon, callmeadam.com. Chilla, what say you?
What is the version of pasta? It's al dente, where it's like kind of in between, right? That's where I feel like I fit in, like still transitioning from the hard spaghetti to soft spaghetti and learning, but having had my son had made me learn very hard and very quick, right along with starting my own business, that I needed to be flexible. So the spaghetti test is definitely one that comes up quite frequently in my calendar specifically. Can I be flexible here?
I love that, Jello. And you definitely are a living proof example of learning. So I think you're past al dente, I'll just say. I think you are delicious. We'll say that. Denise, what say you?
I have pasta in every shape and form except uncooked. So I have to admit that, I sit down with my planner and I do everything I can not to feel like I have every minute mapped out, because I know it'll fail. And that's like uncooked spaghetti. It's just failure. So I do my best to not do that. And I'm always trying to test. So I agree.
I love it, Denise. And, just for a little practical example from all four of us, something that I encourage everyone to do is if you're having a meeting, buffer your time. Buffer it so that you have, if you're driving somewhere, there's generally traffic, give yourself a little bit more time. If you're meeting online, give yourself a little bit more time to get prepared and in the zone so that you have a great meeting. Give yourself a little time to maybe follow up with some notes or whatever. So don't pack everything to the point that it can't be good. I think that that's a lesson I have learned by dropping spaghetti in a bundle instead of taking it. It can like get all cooked and hard together. So think of that too, y'all. I'm giving all kinds of visuals today with this spaghetti.
No, that's a bad one.
Well, Kim, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you have a sexy challenge for us this week?
Oh, I do, and it's very exciting. I'm very excited to share this one. Well, before we wrap up GME today, I do have a simple challenge for you. And our challenge sometimes is the drum roll. We're very excited about the drum roll. But today's challenge is about becoming more fluid in business. And I think you can do this in under a minute. It's the decisions that you make about it. So flexible, adaptable, and responsive instead of being rigid and stuck. This is your challenge. In the next moment, you're going to spot, I want you to look for one place where you're operating with unnecessary rigidity. and choose a more fluid alternative. So take a breath and get present with me. I want your attention for just this last little minute. First, I want you to identify one rigid spot in your business right now and ask yourself, where am I being rigid in my business? Like right now, not in the past, but where are you doing it right now? Might be a rule like I have to post every day at a specific time. Might be a product you keep selling the exact same way, even though it's not converting, y'all. It might be a schedule that leaves no room for experiments. Name just one place where you feel tight, controlled, or stuck. And I want you to say it out loud. Even better, write it down in a short sentence. So where are you feeling stuck? Where are you feeling really tied in a schedule or very controlled? Now we're going to turn that rigidity into fluidity. And I'm so proud I can say both those words today. Ask yourself, what tiny, more flexible move could I try this week instead? So maybe it's instead of forcing a strict posting rule, I'll test a couple of different times and see what performs best. Maybe it's instead of pushing the same offer, I'll actually ask my audience what they want in a simple poll. You can send out just a question in an email even. Instead of filling every minute, I'll block 1 hour this week just for experiments. So your challenge is to choose. You're choosing one specific experiment you'll try that gives you room to adapt. So say that out loud, or better yet again, write it down clearly so that you actually will do it. And to seal this, I would like you to speak this mantra out loud. And my lovelies here, I would love for you to speak this out loud. I build a fluid business.
I build a fluid business.
I experiment, learn, and adjust fast.
I experiment, learn, and adjust fast.
So your 1 minute to a more fluid business is complete. You made a decision of what you're going to experiment with. If you want extra power, share it with me, because the rigid spot you noticed and the fluid experiment you're trying this week, it can make all the difference when you tell someone. So be sure and send us the note or tell someone. But subscribe to our YouTube channel wherever you're watching the show. Follow. We're glad you're on this adventure with us, and we'll see you in the next GME. Love y'all. Join us next Friday at 7 a.m. Central.
This is the team signing off for Good Morning Entrepreneurs.